Hi everyone, Charlotte here from New Zealand Shores. Just a really quick video today about the difference between residency, permanent residency, and citizenship. So it's a question we get asked every day, which is quite understandable because it can be a little bit confusing. So in New Zealand, when you apply for residence, 99.9% of people will be granted a resident visa with conditions. In most cases for our clients, the conditions that they have to meet is that they have to spend a minimum of 2 years in New Zealand on that resident visa. And that requires you to spend 6 months out of each year for those 2 years. In some cases, you may also have employment conditions attached to your visa, which means that you have to remain in skilled employment, either with the employer that you applied for on the basis of residency or a similar employer in a similar type of role for up to 12 months. When residence is approved for our clients, we do explain the conditions that you have to meet. So we will outline it quite clearly, how long you have to spend in the country and whether or not you have those employment conditions attached. Once you've met the conditions of your visa, so quite often after 2 years of living here on that residency visa, you're able to convert your resident visa to permanent residence. It is an application, but I quite often like to call it a conversion because it is the simplest step out of your entire migration journey. They take about 2 weeks to process. They're incredibly quick. Immigration New Zealand will check your movements in and out of the country via their own systems. And if you do have those employment conditions or other conditions attached to your resident visa, then we also submit evidence of how you've met those conditions. If it is employment conditions, which is incredibly common, we can submit things like pay slips, employment agreements, tax summaries, letters from your employer confirming that you have been in that skilled employment for the time required. Once you've got permanent residence, you can come and go indefinitely as you please for the rest of your life. There aren't too many differences between a resident visa and a permanent resident visa, except for the fact that a resident visa has those conditions. So in both cases, you are virtually entitled to everything that a New Zealand citizen is, except a passport. So that's when citizenship comes into play. A lot of people like to obtain their New Zealand passport under citizenship because it's a very favourable passport to travel on. As New Zealand citizens, we are able to travel to a lot of countries without having to apply for visas if we're going on holiday, which is of course a massive bonus. So getting that passport, you have to generally have spent 5 years living in New Zealand. So there are presence requirements attached. So much like getting the resident visa, citizenship is a little bit similar, is that they're looking for you to actually demonstrate a commitment to the country before they issue you citizenship. Quite often the easiest way I like to explain it to people is you are a resident for 2 years, a permanent resident for 3, and then if you want to apply for citizenship, you can do so after having lived here for a total of 5 years as a resident visa holder. Hope this clarifies things for everyone. If you've got any questions or you're interested in applying for residence, permanent residence, or citizenship, please do reach out as New Zealand Shores is able to assist with all 3.